Welcome to episode of Potion Sword Run. In this episode, we're going to be talking about a grifter, Smash JT, who always calls a manager and wants to get people fired. Smash JT is at it again. Now, we all know Smash JT. We know him before he became what he is now, but that's another point. What he is now is someone who always complains to the manager, all the time, always on Twitter, tagging the manager of someone he has a scuffle with. We know him because of his scuffle with Lisa Brown and all the lawsuit and everything about that. But now he's moved on to someone else because he wants another lawsuit? Nah, that's just Smash JT sticking to DEI issues because that is his livelihood. Now, speaking about livelihood, some of us know, what Smash JT was before he is now and the type of work that he did or the lack of work that he did. But I'm not going to tell you about it. Let him tell you about it.
One of the main reasons I wanted to make this video is talking about the challenges that I faced when becoming a full-time YouTuber. And good Lord, how long have I been talking before I got to this point? Sorry about that. I just have a lot to say. I went full-time and we weren't making any money in our family on my side of things. So I decided to open a Patreon to help with some bills. I was able to monetize my channel back then with advertisements and make a little bit of money per month. But it still wasn't very much. I mean, I live in Southern California and it's extremely expensive here. So my wife, a single income family basically as a registered nurse, which is good money, is not enough to support a mortgage, 2 kids in school, and a deadbeat dad like me. And I was like, I need to find a way to make more money. And that's when I actually started driving for Uber and Lyft. And that was one of the lowest points of my life, I'll be honest. Now, I know it was helpful and I'm very thankful for the opportunity of it, but damn, something I haven't told you guys, I worked many, many nights. My wife would come home from work, I'd give her a kiss, high five her, and then go out to the car and I would drive all night. And I'd come back in the morning and she'd go out to work and I'd have to sleep for like 2, maybe 3 hours and then wake up and take care of the kids and do it all again the next day. And this is making basically peanuts. Like I was driving all night and Uber and Lyft, with the gas prices in California, ultimately I was making maybe after everything, $80 to $120 after tips. Like for driving like 6 hours on a weekday night. Now, if I did weekend nights, I'd make a little bit more, but I was exhausted. And I had a lot of people that wanted to start a podcast with me. I had a lot of opportunities I had to let fall to the wayside because I needed to sleep and I needed to drive. And in between that, I was making videos and researching, which left very little time to actually play video games, which is ironic because one of the reasons I wanted to start the YouTube channel in the first place was to have an excuse to be able to play the video games and do something with that knowledge. And it just turned into this whole mess of I'm out driving all night, lack of sleep, lack of income in the family. I mean, we're barely making ends meet even with all this driving. And for what? For what? That's when I came to the realization that this is just not going to be working out long term for me. My channel was growing. Sorry about that sun there, guys. My channel was growing at that point. It was doing well, but by no means was it exploding or getting to the point of, okay, this is something that I can make a living off of. It was more like, okay, now I'm making $150 a month off of advertising.
Now, as you can see, if it wasn't for his wife and the profession she did, they would not have a home. He would not be able to stay at home to do YouTube or all that stuff, to be where he is at right now. He knew how hard it was to struggle because he didn't have a job, or at least a steady job. And then when he did, he knew how it was to struggle to maintain a job and also do YouTube and the research it does to do it. It's hard work. He understood that. He understood how important it is to have a job. He understood how important it was for him to put food in his kids' mouths. He understood how important it was to have shelter. He understood all this because it was affecting him. But now that he's making money off of this DEI, anti-woke stuff and attacking people who make games, attacking people who report about games, he's suddenly forgotten how hard it was for him when he didn't have a job. But he constantly now attacks these people and doesn't want them to have a job. I talked about it before when he tagged Tim Sweeney and Tim Sweeney told him to fuck off. And he even left me a message saying that he kind of understood. Smash JT. I'm gonna make a series called The Grift of the Grift and cover your vids, rolling on the floor laughing. But in all seriousness, I could have handled this situation better. I still stand by that people should not be listing their employer in their bio if that's how they conduct themselves online. But point taken. Fair enough. We live and we learn. But he didn't because he keeps on doing it. And now he's attacking a game dev that used to work for Concord because she's out there looking for a new job. She goes by the nickname Professor Brown. The new year is nigh, and I'm back in the job hunt game. I'm looking for senior position in gameplay design, game field, 3Cs, gameplay related accessibility. Hit me up if you're down to clown. And so when Smash JT gets a hold of it, he pretty much criticizes her and says that she needs to know her place.
This situation genuinely fascinates me because just when you think people are starting to learn their lessons and figure out where they belong in this world, you realize, no, at the end of the day, people always fall back to what they know, tried and true. And when it comes to the Concord lead developer, originally from Firewalk Studios, the professor decides she's back. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode.
That people should figure out their lessons and learn where they belong in this world. Smash JT supposedly knows where everybody else belongs in this world. Like, who even thinks like that? Like, who are you to say where anybody belongs? And just so you guys all know, Professor Brown, she belongs in game development. She has a great track record in game development, has worked on great games that everybody out there plays. She's worked on Destiny. She's worked on Hyper Light Drifter. She's worked on Sunset Overdrive. She's worked on Ratchet and Clank. She worked on Resistance. I mean, she's worked on a lot of games that a lot of gamers out there love. A lot of games that a lot of gamers didn't complain about before. Even though she was the same person she is now. I mean, those games rocked. And she just had one flop. A lot of those devs had one flop. And because of that, they can never work in game development again? I mean, she has a pedigree of great games. No, that's not the problem. The problem is she's Professor Brown. The problem is the way she looks. And according to Smash JT, I guess she shouldn't have a job. She shouldn't be able to feed her family, put a roof over her head. Why? Because she unfortunately had a flop of a game? That shit happens in a real fucking environment where you work, Smash. You should know this, but you don't because why? You never had a job like she did. But even though you didn't, you know how it was to struggle. You knew how it was to struggle. I mean, you said it yourself. You had your wife taking care of you. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you take care of your kids, whatever it is. Everybody lives the way they want to live. But you didn't want to live that way. You said it yourself. Even with your wife working the way she worked and you working nights, it was still hard to make ends meet. Now, obviously, you're in a place where you don't have to worry about that. You make your YouTube money and any other money you can. So you no longer fear having to lose your house or not paying the bills anymore because you're secure. Why? Because talking about DEI has become your livelihood. And that's all good and dandy. But doesn't mean you gotta keep on harassing people or get a new victim all the time. The community manager for Compulsion Games was your last video. Now it's this person trying to go out and look for a job. There was a list of more content now who doesn't have a job. Like, what are you doing, dude? You're gonna keep on going from game developer to the game developer and not even talking about the games or criticizing what the games is? Criticize the games. But you're not. Instead, you're going to the managers and trying to get people fired. And that's where I drew the line. When I started seeing all this ugliness coming from you. And then you wonder why you're getting sued. And then you gotta go ask everyone else for money to pay for your stupidity and your foolishness. It's a damn shame what you become. It's a damn shame, it is. But when, DEI becomes your livelihood, you gotta stick with it. It just sucks that other people gotta become victims and points of harassment for you to succeed. When you get to the point where you're trying to keep them from getting a job, you really gotta look at yourself and reflect what you're doing. And I'm not sure if you're capable of that anymore. Because you got your YouTube plaque, get all this ad revenue now because the type of videos that you've released now. So, I'm not sure if you even have the capacity to reflect on what you're doing to other people around you. I'm gonna leave it right there. You guys let me know what you guys think. Remember, be kind to yourself and enjoy your life. And I'll meet you right there. Peace.